With that lead, when your initial conversation, do you recall that person right off the hop? Were they kind of like somebody that was a little bit resistant at first, and then you kind of schmoozed them, build that confidence, or was somebody that one of those ones that we all hope that we're kind of get, where they you call, they're kind of willing, motivated, and made it really easy for you?
Yeah. So what I did, I'm just looking at the notes. That's why I'm looking over here. So what I did on this one actually wasn't really responsive when I called. Um, they were looking at listings and stuff, which was great. So I always kind of reached out, but they never responded, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. And then he sent me an email one day, and then I just responded to that. And then he's texted me. Actually, I did it through the app actually. So we were
Mm-hmm.
texting each other, and I booked the CMA.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was a little
Nice.
different because usually I like to be on the phone and give them more, but it
Yeah.
was, yeah, it
Yeah.
was actually pretty good because they were hot, answered the questions, right, and all that stuff. So that gave me the opportunity to go to their house. Their
Mm-hmm.
problem was they were nervous about selling first,
Mm-hmm.
and then finding something that they want. But in their scenario, they should have sold first, but we actually did the opposite just because as realtors we know that people like to do different things from what
Mm-hmm. Yep.
professionals recommend, but
Mm-hmm.
everything always works out at the end, right? So basically they got a great deal when the interest rates went up. That
Mm-hmm.
first week there was a lull and we were able to get something that would normally sell over 800 for 770. And then I
Okay.
just sold their house over 740, just waiting for
Yeah.
deposit check. So, for them, it was a great opportunity, and only such a small amount to upsize. So,
Nice.
I think it just comes by just being patient with your leads because
Mm-hmm.
remember, like, I know that we're lead genning and we want people to answer the phones now and we want people to answer us and, be active on our time and all that stuff. But, there's a lot of things going on. We don't know who we're connecting with. These are online leads. We don't know what type of lifestyle they are. We don't know what they're going through. We're just like, calling them up and seeing what's good, right? So I think what's really important is just having patience with your leads. That's why I never throw out my leads personally. I know some
Mm-hmm.
people after 3 years they're throwing people things out. I don't,
Yeah.
just because you never know.
No, you don't, right? You never know why they went on in the first place, what, their motivations look like, and when they're just going to come back.
Yeah,
Just happen to come across something, right? They're
yeah,
just kind of like, oh, I know I get listing emails. Let me search through my emails. I'm going to find one, right? I do
right,
that. Sometimes I was like looking for stuff and I know that I get that I never pay attention to, but I know
right,
it's there and I'll go back and I'll look for it to see, just to find where the site is or whatever it is that I'm trying to go
right.
to. Not necessarily what's in those emails, but the source of what the emails came from. So
Yeah, exactly.
it does
Um,
work. And I think too, for you, it was also like responsiveness, right? So
yes.
responsiveness plays a huge role in our success in a lot of this. So you said that he had sent you an email and you replied back, and there were text messages. So obviously there was a good window of communication there to initiate all of this, right? Because if you had dropped the ball, overlooked the email, waited, too long to get back to them, people are impatient. They'll just go to the next person
And
and
that's
request the
true.
exact same thing. Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Very
interrupt
true.
you. I was just
No,
agreeing
it's
with you.
okay. No, it is
Yeah.
very true.
No, I was just saying that, like, I
Uh,
totally agree with you. And actually,
yeah.
just recalling, this actually came in at like 9:30 at night.
Yeah. No,
There, I have a
crazy.
bad habit because I don't have a turn off time just
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm always dealing with things and all that stuff. So I need
Yeah.
to set boundaries for myself.
Hmm.
But depending on what it is, right? But for
Yeah.
this person, they're just asking general questions. For me, it's easy, right?
Yeah.
So that's there. I actually took out a new first time buyer that just recently came in too. And they just reached out from a listing that they liked, and I
Hmm.
showcased the house. It wasn't the house for them, but now they're talking to my mortgage advisor, and now they're getting pre-approved, and now we're making a plan to get out there and make it happen. So
Okay.
I think right now, especially in the summertime, this is when, summertime is great because a lot of agents don't work because there's, especially being in Canada, like you get the good weather and you just want to be outside,
Yeah.
right? And you want to just
Yeah.
like don't do anything. So
Hmm.
I totally can relate to that. But even in those days, if you just work most of those days or even half of those days, like you're gonna start seeing results.
Hmm.
And I think what's really important is just being more organized and like with your notes and just like having your CRM more organized. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
working on it right now because I let it go a little bit too bad. But
Yeah.
it's not crazy. It's just I have to catch up from the newer leads that came in, right? So
Yeah.
so that's it. Another tip that I would recommend is maybe calling your leads that are a year, 2, 3, 4 years out. I mean, I know that it could be, dead, right? Like nothing to be out there, but we don't know, like I said, we don't know what people are looking for and we don't know what's happening in their life. And remember, if
Mhm.
someone bought 3, 4 years ago, they already made equity.
Yeah.
So now might be the
It
time,
is.
especially with interest rates going up and pushing people, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just
Mhm.
opportunity, right? And like,
Yeah.
remember what prospecting is. Prospecting is like you're going for the no's, right? You
Mhm.
know that most of these calls are going to be no,
Mhm.
but you're looking for that yes, right?
Yeah.
And then once you start getting the yeses, then the no's don't become that hard. It's like,
No.
okay, whatever, right? And
Yeah.
then once you start getting yeses, you start finding more yeses and they just start happening. So,
Mhm.
real estate's all about like that motivation and consistency. And also like it's a snowball effect. Whatever you do
Mhm.
today is not going to show for the next 3, 6 months. So if you're
Yeah.
working your ass off today, that's great. Keep going. But you're not going to really see the fruits of your labors until 3 to 6 months from now, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. It's very they're like the unicorns for the instant gratification, right? They are in there. There definitely
Right?
are people in there. They just fall, and it's like the perfect situation. You're out showing them right away. Or pre-approved, get a deal
Right?
done, right? They're
Right.
there. Everyone wants those, right? They do exist. It's just they're not very common.
Right.
So it is definitely, what you're doing today as to where your business is going to be, even like from a year or two from now in some cases, right? So
Right.
it's knowing what you're doing is just going to, it's kind of working towards your end goal, right? So when you're
Right.
looking at the larger picture, we're do small steps to achieve the largest goal, right? So kind of breaking it down and being like, I'm just calling my leads today to achieve my goal of next year even. This year I
Right.
have a goal to do this many ends, but next year I want to do this many ends. And you can say, well, this is what I'm doing today to, put towards that future goal of next
Right.
year
Right.
while also
Right.
working on my this year's goal, right? So
Right.
it's like you're
Right.
hitting two birds with one stone.
It's so true, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And that's just what it really is. You just have to focus and just kind of make things happen. And remember, like, these leads are online leads, right? Just to
Mm-hmm.
go over again, like, it's more of trying to build more relationships, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's just what it is.
Oh, for sure.
And don't be scared to call up for customer service, meaning like, hey, like I just wanted to check in just to make sure we're sending you things. How you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Catch up a little bit, and then okay, no problem, thank you so much for your time, and move forward, right? So
Mm-hmm.
people really do appreciate that, I find. But I mean, I can keep going on more and more about what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing, which is great, and I will. But we do have a little bit more people on this call that I'd be happy to kind of maybe go over some of their hardships, maybe some blockages, maybe some scripting issues, and I can, be very helpful to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone has a question about what they're doing now and how they would want to improve, feel free to use the chat and let me know what's kind of going on.
Yeah. And just make sure chat has the ability for them to comment. There's also the Q&A as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you guys want to come on and just talk, because sometimes it's easier to discuss
Yep.
what it is
Yep.
that you're trying to
Yep.
get across. That's definitely sometimes easier. So if that's the case, you can use the tools and raise your hand, and we'll give you the ability to for you to speak in here. Now, while we kind of wait for someone to either ask a question, we'll see how lively our group is today. A lot of times everyone likes to just take everything in. Now, have you, whether it's real estate leads or not, because we deal with interest rates, whether they're with leads or clients or whatever it is. Now, I know here in Canada, there is discussion again that there is talks and no one knew what was going to happen, but there's some sort of review or possible change, I think today,
Yeah,
or
it's
over the
going up
next
to.
few days. It's going up again today.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah. It's going up. So what I can tell you what this is probably going to do, I mean, right now, I don't think it's going to do much. People already know it's going up. I think what it's going to do is it's going to get more people to purchase right now because there's a lot of
Mm.
rate holds for 60, 90 days.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are going to start buying right now. The
Hmm.
question is happening, well, not the question, but what we're seeing is that there's more inventory coming right now. Like in my area, there's usually about, 75 to 90. Right now we have over 111 and it'll probably get to 120, 130.
Okay.
Right? So
Hmm.
the thing is now not every listing is selling. Not every listing who is holding low is going to sell. And this is the same
Yeah.
thing that I've been saying in the last couple months.
Hmm.
But now we're starting to see a little bit more demand and people are coming out to play. Like buyers are coming out of the woodworks. We're still seeing some really great prices. If you're under
Hmm.
that $1 million range, like under 700, unfortunately, like you're fighting and trying to just get a home, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
fine. But once you get under 900, you are still, bidding for properties, but there are some opportunities because some people are not heavy listing agents, so they don't know how to list the property right with numbers.
Yeah.
So while they're sitting on the market, because not all of them are getting attention, I'm starting to see more suspended termination listings and stuff like that and expired.
Hmm.
So those are great opportunities. But those are the type, like there are some really good deals that are happening.
Yeah.
So you just have to kind of educate your clients and just go out there and showcase what's happening.
Hmm.
So keep that in mind. But if you're getting anything over $1 million, that's where you'll have some price adjustments because the interest rate's really going to affect those numbers.
Hmm. Yeah. No, absolutely. And then really in hindsight, what we're seeing as far as interest rates, and we've said this before, is kind of like normal. Where it's not anything outrageously high or it hasn't been seen in the last 10 years. It's pretty much like pre-COVID interest rates. It's just we all got so used to having some really amazing, attractive interest rates, right? Which, let's face it, it's going to be a long time before we see some of those numbers again, if ever, really.
Yeah.
So it's bringing people to realization that it's you might save a little bit, if your weight, but it's a teeter totter, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're
Yes.
gonna ride that teeter totter. So.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at one of the texts where it says where I'm located. So I'm in Durham region. So I also do in the GTA. Toronto, yeah, there's still things selling, but I think it just depends on the product. Like here in Durham region, since we have the best value, homes are still selling, but not every single one is selling. You know what I mean? Like if
Mhm.
there's like 20 listings, probably 8 of them or 10 of them are selling, and then there's the other 10 will sell. But it's just going to take longer because they're not first best in the market. They're second or third best in the buyer's eyes.
Mhm.
So it just takes longer.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll showcase a call that was like 11 minutes and I just recently
Sure,
did. This one was
sure.
great just because, just came onto the website, did the normal script, got them on Nosy Neighbor. This one's actually really good. It's a 1.5 plus listing, so that's great. So I'm going to just share my screen and the
Sure,
sound, and we can kind of go through that, and then maybe we can just go through some questions after.
sure.
Yeah, so we'll go from there.
Perfect.
Okay, let me share sound. Perfect.
Hello.
Hey Jen, how are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
It's actually Nick Moretti giving you a call, and I just want to reach out to you just to thank you so much for coming onto my website on MorettiRealEstate.com. And I just want to make sure that I give you a great user experience. I'm not here to sell you on anything. My goal is just to make sure I connect you to the right properties for you to see. You're probably in the information stage anyways, where you're just seeing properties. But I just want to know, I see that you're looking in Clarington. Is there a specific property that you're looking in Clarington for at all, so I can make the list a little bit more easier for you to see the properties you want?
Well, we live in Newtonville, and we really like our home. I'm just thinking long-term maintenance-wise,
Sure.
something maybe a bit smaller, although
Sure.
we have a walkout bungalow. It's just
Oh.
the property itself is bigger,
Yeah.
I
Do you
guess.
have a big lot?
We do.
Nice. Are you like under half an acre? Are you over half an acre?
I think we're just about half an acre.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, Newtonville
Yeah.
has a lot of
I
space.
think
I
our
live in
only thing is
Bowmanville
that,
myself. Sorry
what's
about that.
that?
I didn't mean to overtalk. Sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk that. I just said I live in Bowmanville myself, so I know the area very well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we do love our house. It's just if we were to move, we are still looking for like a 3-car garage.
Okay, cool.
That's
What
about it.
can you give me a little bit more information about like what you're looking for? Are you looking to stay in like rural Clarington? Are you looking to go a little bit more east where you'll get a little bit more value?
If anything, I would probably go more west.
Okay, so just
More
before I
west.
keep going,
Okay.
so as you guys can see, closed a little bit, open them up, but the only way you start opening them up is by talking to them for what they're looking for, right? So, doing homework on the lead. If you're just calling these leads, you're wasting your opportunity on, getting really, really good quality leads, right? She started understanding that, I'm trying to just help her, broke down, like not trying to sell her on anything. And I just want to connect her to the property. So then started listing the areas that she liked. And now kind of finding out a little bit more about her property, not going in for the kill, but just asking so I can build a little more trust. So yeah.
And it's nothing, we're not looking for anything soon. It's just kind of looking out there, just because a lot of homes around here are going up for sale. So
100%. Yeah,
Trying to
Clarington has
fit,
done
yeah.
really well.
yeah.
Yeah, which is really good. And just to let you know, Jen, like, I understand that, real estate is one of those things where you don't wake up the next morning and you go, oh, I'm going to sell. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's usually 3 to 18 months out and just kind of planning and future planning your what you want to do. When you're saying as far as west, would you consider as far as Pickering or further than Pickering?
No, not that far. Like I teach in Whitby.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
My wife is a teacher as well, and our neighbor who's a teacher just got accepted to be a high school student at Holy Trinity.
Oh, nice. There's
Yeah,
so many
so-
teachers around here.
So yeah,
I know.
building.
Isn't that
So
funny?
learned a little bit about her, try to relate, and that's where you can even hear in the tone that it's starting to change.
Yeah.
So are you looking for minimum like 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, or 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms then?
I think 2 or 3. Like my daughter is like, she's in her early 20s, so I think right now we're probably gonna put a bedroom in the basement for her so she can
Nice.
just work a bit before she gets her she might be first looking for a home compared to to us down the road, but
I understand.
yeah, she's just almost done her nursing degree, so
Cool. That's awesome. That's
yeah.
so awesome. I was going to ask you, I know that you said minimum 3-car garage, but would you consider 2 or no, not at all?
My husband's a big car guy, so I think
Okay.
like right now we
The
have
spaces.
like he has a lift, so
Nice,
he has
nice.
I know. So I don't
love
think I can
that.
get away from that. Unless it
I'm
was
a
like
car
a
guy
large
too, so.
2-car garage.
Yeah. So if he has a lift, would you consider, I mean, depending on the house as well too, right? But if the garage had a good set of height, maybe a 2 garage could suffice, or do you guys have
Oh,
like
yeah.
3 lifts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And are you looking more of those executive style homes, or are you looking for just something that is, maybe 1,500 square feet with a triple car garage, maybe detached in rural areas?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't
And
think
then-
like we don't need a big space.
Yeah, yeah. Because like if you're looking for triple car garages, there's obviously only a certain amount of properties that have that, especially if you're looking. Because if you're going to Whitby, triple car garages are at least $2 million plus. If you're looking more so like rural Clarington, would you be? You're in Newtonville, so you might already have well and septic. But would you be okay with that?
We're on a septic, but we have city water.
Nice.
Like we're like in the newer kind of, like the new
Cool.
development is right beside us.
Okay.
And then we've been here about 8 years.
Nice.
So we're like
Congrats.
the second phase. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. What brought you out there? Just the best value at
The
that time?
3-car garage. My husband got me out here. That's literally why we're here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is there a certain price point that you want to stay in between?
So as you can see, like I'm building
Um,
rapport, asking them small questions, building rapport again after that, asking small questions. I'm not just like firing out. I don't think that would have worked for this lead. So it's just building rapport, having a genuine conversation. I think she's actually super cool. So yeah, we'll keep going.
I don't know. Like we bought our house for, I would say just under 7, and the homes right now, like the one across from us is going for over 2, and the other one's 1.8. So
Great job.
yeah, like it's like we were lucky that way when we bought.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think price is a huge.
Okay. Yeah. I just don't want to send things over the budget that doesn't matter. I actually, to be honest with you, I do have some pocket listings on. Do you know? Obviously, you know, but like where Salina is in that executive homes. If you go a little bit more north from there,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
all those are triple, quadruple car garages. And I went to 3 assessments recently. And there are people that are looking to sell there, but they are looking at least like the high 2.5s. But like these are
Yeah.
pimped out, nice, like, backyard is like an oasis, pool, everything that you want.
Yeah.
So, I just want to make sure I'm just sending you things in the right areas, because I don't want to be like one of those real estate agents that send you things that you don't care for. You know what I mean? My goal is to make
Yeah.
the search as easy as possible, even though you're just in the information stage.
Right, right.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll tailor your list for you if that's okay with you, just so you can see what's out there, and that will come out. I think another great tool that would help you, because I know if I wasn't a real estate agent, I mean, even though I am, I have something called Nosy Neighbor tool. So basically what it is, to be honest with you, if a listing comes up on your street or just sells, I mean, you're going to try to find it, because, we're all nosy neighbors that way. Basically,
Yeah.
once a listing comes out or just sells, you'll be the first one to be notified, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
Would you be open to that?
Being notified if something sells?
Yeah, exactly. Just in your area there.
Yeah, for sure. Like the house 2 doors down just went up.
Let me take a look right now. I'm actually on my computer.
Yeah,
let
we're
me
on
just
So
Charles
take-
like
Tilly.
showing how responsive
Okay,
and
yeah.
attentive I'm being, I just got the address now. So it's beautiful. You know what I mean? Now I'm talking to her about Nosy Neighbor. I'm doing that, even though she's not doing anything. Like she already told me that, she's looking to not move anytime soon. Her daughter's going to be ready to move before she does. Fine. And I'm just working the lead, because when you're building a relationship, right? Like that's how I build my business. So yeah.
I know that street very well. There was a recent sale on Charles Tilly that did very well. I think it
Yeah.
sold for over 1.5 or 1.6. Let me just take a look here. What do you have planned for the long weekend? Anything at all?
Honestly, nothing. It's just my last day of school, and
Nice.
I'm exhausted.
I bet. What grade do you teach, if you don't mind me asking?
I teach junior, grade 4 or 5, but I'm teaching grade
Okay.
2 next year. Yeah.
Nice. My wife was teaching kindies, and yeah, I know the pain that you go through.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable, don't get me wrong, but you teachers do a lot of great things at that age that I feel like some parents don't really appreciate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I
But
get it.
I know that you guys are hard workers, and you know what? It's funny because if I didn't marry a teacher, I wouldn't really know, right? And I think that most people wouldn't really know unless you have a teacher or you're married to someone into that field.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, one just went up on 51 Charles Tilly. They list at 1849. They're taking offers anytime. I'll send you the listing so you can see it. But I'll register you on there. I just need your address. What number are you on Charles Tilly?
43.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So I'll add you on that. And then obviously, I know that you're looking for information, but you're open to it in the next coming weeks or whatever. I think a really great thing to help you guys out, even though you're not looking to move at this. It's just me coming in with a quick tour, if you guys are both open to that, just so I can see the condition or any upgrades that you guys have done to the house. And then on top of that, what I would do is I have a booklet that I leave with you with the market stats, past comps. I just briefly go over that. And that's kind of it. And, obviously, whenever you're ready to take advantage of it, which is going to be a little bit longer time, that's totally cool. But it's always good to know, how much my houses can sell today. So when you're looking at these homes, I mean, you can budget yourself a little bit better.
Yeah.
I know that you're too early right now.
It.
Yeah, 100%. I know that you're too early now, but I'll be checking in if that's okay with you. But I'll update your criteria up to Whitby and to kind of rural Clarington and like where you are now. Would you go even
Yeah.
further east at all, or no, not at all, because you want to come a little bit more west?
Well, my husband's parents are in Peterborough.
Okay.
Do you see how I'm always finding more information, even though she said no? Like you guys heard from this call. No, I only want west. And now she's like, oh, okay, well, because there's more trust being involved now.
I have good friends that are in what's a place near the Big Apple,
Brighton?
Brighton,
Well,
which is really nice.
yeah.
So,
Another area, if you're open to, is there's a lot of great properties there. It's a little bit more rural too. There are triple car garages. One of our clients purchased one on Theatre Road in Coburg, but it's called Hamilton Township. So Coburg is, you know where Coburg is, obviously. Hamilton Township is just north from there. Yes, you will be
yeah,
on well and septic, but you'll have like either an acre property with triple car garages. It may be a little bit older where you might need to do some updates, or some of them are pimped out. So pimped out is my kind of language to say that it's renovated
yeah,
fully. But I would consider those areas too, because you would get a little bit of a price difference, like more value for your
right,
money there.
yeah.
Would you be open if I send some there too?
Yeah, I think it's good to look, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Well, Jen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate your conversation, and I really appreciate you not hanging up on me.
Yeah.
So thank you so much on that. And I'm going to send you those lists. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you do see anything you do like and you want to just take a peek of it, I'm totally cool with that. A little bit about myself, just before I let you go. Last year, I was ranked out of 8,000 agents in Durham region. I was ranked number 39. You may have seen our signs and stuff because we do a lot of listings and sales, and we did over 50 plus transactions. So I can guide you appropriately.
Great.
Cool. Well, thanks
Okay.
again for not hanging up, and have a great day.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend. Thank
You too. Bye.
Killed it. Great call. 11
No,
minutes on that call.
that was a good call.
And I almost tried to get the in-person. I'll probably get the in-person, probably in the next month or two. But like, I was just pushing the barrier a little bit. Like in that call, and like how all sale calls are, is like you walk a little bit and you stay. You walk a little bit more and you stay. You walk a little bit more and stay. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't coming across as aggressive at all.
No,
It was
just
more
coming
of,
from fact finding, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Is finding so that you can, and again, you kept referring, I want to be able to send you the right properties. I don't want to be
Right.
sending you things that are outside of your reach or that you don't want to be seeing.
Right.
Which for some people will respect that. Oh, okay, they're just here, taking care of modifying things. But,
Right.
they're slowly starting to realize that this isn't a sales pitch or a sales call. You're not trying to sell them on anything.
Yeah, exactly. You're just trying to help them find the information they're looking for. And that's the best way of coming across.
No.
So that call was really, really good. But generally, like just the flow of it, like there wasn't any pauses, like very responsive. She told me a listing. I was right on I always have MLS open, so I was looking at that. So there's just so many, great conversations you can have. And it's not about, trying to get them to get into your house or do a CMA. It's all about their timing, and the reasons why you want to ask what's adequate and what's appropriate for them to reach out is that means you're respecting them. So if you're respecting them, they're going to respect you, meaning that they're going to be more open at answering your calls as long as you give value and you're not harassing them in any way or form.
No, absolutely. And then even just trying to get in for that CMA, many cases, a lot of people wouldn't even try because they're like, oh, this person has no intention.
I always try.
There's no intention. Why would they be interested? Right. So, again, but looping back and saying, I can kind of showcase to you with obviously no obligation because we're not planning to move anytime soon, but, where your house currently sits in today's market. Do you have a general idea as to what that would look like, and home values and what they're going for and so on. But again, it's also the opportunity to point out, any kind of defects or things that, they should or could start paying attention to now for potential moves in the future.
Yes.
Right. So it's kind of getting them excited about making the move, right? And getting them off the fence and starting to action some things, because as we all know, we're all busy and it takes time to complete all those little things that we know are there, right? That,
right. And it's more of, And it's more of just meeting them, getting them to
Mhm.
understand who I am. I'm not just like some random caller calling them. I'm
Yeah.
now a person that they've met. Now they experience like what I do as a business. And usually they'll like me and we just build the relationship from there. Like,
Yeah.
remember, most of these leads are 3 to 18 months out. Usually you get a lot more buyer leads and we're patient with buyer leads, but we have to switch that mindset to the seller leads too. Even if you can get your foot in the door and do a home tour and give them a CMA book and all that fun stuff, man, you're already almost there.
Mhm.
You're already almost there. As long as you don't fuck up that appointment, you're there, right?
Yeah.
And you're just building
Mhm.
relationships. And then, you know, maybe not this year, but next year, that's how you'll probably get another 5 listings,
Yeah.
just answering your phone, right?
Yeah.
So that's just what you need to do.
No.
So just have
100%.
that same mindset, right? The thing about listings is like it can be very scary, especially if you're not a heavy listing agent, because you're like, wow, like I know what it is on the buying side, but I don't know what I really need to do on the list side. And if that's the case, I really encourage you to talk to, you know, one of your top producers in the brokerage if you can,
Mhm.
or reach out to me and I can give you some more information. But you know, in this game of real estate, you want to be a listing agent. I
Mhm.
mean, you know, you can enjoy buying, but you want to be a listing agent because that's the only way people are going to recognize who you are and the work that you do. And then it will make it easier for you to get more leads coming onto your branded or non-branded website because now your name's just out there. People are seeing your signs, right?
Mhm.
You're taking the market share, which is great. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Buying is great,
Mhm.
but you also have to showcase, you know, maybe 10, 5 to 20 homes or more, depending on how you do that. But on listings, you can take 20 listings and you're just waiting for the buyer and you're just marketing, right? And as you market, you're getting more people and you're getting more leads. So, you know, it's great, but it's
Yeah.
also hard. Like listings are hard to get, right? And
Mhm.
no, you
Yeah.
don't have to do it for 1%. You can even go up to 6%. It's just the
Yeah.
way that you position yourself and how much value you bring to the table,
Mhm. No, absolutely. It's the confidence you give somebody, right? As well,
right?
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 Because just because you're saving money, it's like if you cut corners, just because it's less doesn't mean you're getting the best, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
and sometimes people like they learn through other avenues that cheaper isn't always better.
100%. If it's cheaper, it's you're understanding that you're probably going to have to do the work again. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also when it comes to selling your house, if you were going to sell, you know, a car, let's say, and you know that someone else would sell it faster and get you more money, wouldn't
Hmm.
you not do it? What, you're going to do it yourself for what? For it to sit on the lot? Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it doesn't even have to be about cars, right? But, you
Hmm.
know, just any product.
Yeah.
I think that it's really important to, you know, just really assess where you are in the marketplace and how you can, you know, perceive yourself as being, you know, that go-to person in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
So,
No,
you know,
absolutely. Absolutely. Question here, do you find it harder to get people on the phone right now? I have to use text, emails, come over extended period of time.
so, I mean, you know, the phone game is the phone game. It's hit and miss, right? If you want to try to get more people to answer, I would try to call either early morning or later in the evening. You know, during the day is always a tricky one. So to ask, am I getting people over the phone? I'm still getting people over the phone. So
Hmm.
maybe not everyone, right? Because it's summer, people have plans, people are doing things, but I'm still getting people over the phone. As you can see, this last call was by last week. So,
Hmm.
you know, all that stuff. You know, we've been calling a lot, so we still been getting people to answer the phone. So
And it
no,
does, sometimes it does take, it's the consistency in your calls. And that's what a lot of people lack in, or they fail at, especially when I look at systems is, they're calling leads, but there's only one call, one call, one call, one call, one call.
yeah, yeah,
The chances of getting somebody on the phone with just one call is pretty slim. Because again, you're hoping you're catching them at an opportunity that they can, for one, talk on the phone, and two, they actually want to be on the phone.
yes,
Right. So it's, if we keep calling, and again, if we're using, everyone's different. I know Nick leaves voice messages. We suggest like, initial calls, we don't, so that we're kind of playing like a little bit of, an anonymous caller, so to speak. But it's the consistency. You know, if you keep calling somebody, eventually they're going to answer. And if we're not letting it ring, 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 ring every time we're calling, because again, and some of that philosophy of not leaving a message is people aren't necessarily getting to their phone right away because they're preoccupied with something. And then if they drop what they're doing because their phone doesn't stop ringing, and then they're like, oh, this is you, right? Sometimes you can get the opposite reaction to what you're actually aiming for, because now you've caught somebody in a position that you've disrupted them.
Right.
Not always the case, but you know, how many times have we kind of dropped what we're doing and ran to the phone because it kept on ringing, right?
Right.
And so, and then, you know, sometimes it's someone that you're just like, really, I just did this for that. No, I don't
And I
need.
love hearing that on the other line, but that's why, I mean, you have to go what is authentic to you, right? That's the only way you're going to reach further on these leads. For me, I'm a comedy type of guy. Like I do dumb stuff sometimes. I say, things that it just
Silly
like
things.
I'm
Yeah.
just a character, right? So
Yeah.
for me, like my goal is to try to make people laugh, because if you make people laugh, they're more open and kind of more honest, and you're just trying to have good conversations. I think that's the mindset that we would need to adopt, is like you're not okay, yeah, obviously you're trying to get a deal going, but like it's more so that you're just trying to have like great conversations with people in your city, and you're just trying to help them on their search. Like
Yeah.
that is it.
That is it.
If you go
Yeah.
with the mindset of just not really like helping people, not really, and not getting anything in return, cool. You might not even get that listing. They might go with someone else, but guess what? You're practicing yourself doing really well. And like, you know what? I've been the agent that's second runner up, because they didn't like that first person. They appreciated how honest and upfront and how responsive I was. So I mean, just be authentic to yourself. And you could see in that call I just showcased that I tried to make her laugh when I talked to her as I introduced myself, and also made her laugh on the way out. So now whenever she thinks of this number or Nick calling, she's going to think of the person that makes him laugh, that is like a professional real estate agent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. So that's kind of really what it is. Text works too, right?
Yeah.
It just depends on the person. I just, so many agents have so much mindset of like, oh, these leads are not answering, they're garbage. And it's like, sure, if that's your perception, by all means, those same people are going to come to my website and I'm going to get them.
That's what you're going to get though too. Like if that's all we're looking at is saying, and we're putting it out there that they're all garbage or whatever, we're going to walk into our day or morning or afternoon of calling, kind of with that negative attitude foot first, rather than kind of putting it out there, maybe I know I'm going to get some no's, but I'm going to keep calling till I get at least 3 yeses or at least 5 conversations with somebody, right? And they don't have to be a conversation that is, significant, but I'm going to call to get at least 5 people on the phone and have a quick conversation with them. But you're always going to get those. No, you're always going to get the people that don't answer, that you'll sit there and they frustrate the heck out of you because they're active all the time, but they never answer the phone. They're there, but that's just one person out of, in some of your cases, thousands of leads. And we seem to get fixated on the negative things rather than getting fixated on the positive things of what we're doing.
Exactly. Right. So I think that's just kind of what it is. But Crystal and I can go on and on about, what you need to do. And we tell you that every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, the only way that we can help you out is really, coming from contribution. So, what are some issues? Like I appreciate Colin reaching out and asking some questions, but hey, if anyone wants to get on the panel here, we have about 15, 20 minutes left. Let me help you. That's what I'm here for. I don't need to do this. I already know what it is. So you guys are getting someone that, Agent Locator has got on this platform to help you guys get more successful in your calls. So use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there any obstacles you guys are facing right now, or objections that you're encountering that you're just not so sure of? Strategy when it comes to your leads, kind of like some people are like, where do I even start? There's all different, aspects of all this, and really we want to be touching all of our leads in our system, and that comes down to organization and using the tools that are there. right? And learning those systems. Some of you guys are new or potentially new with us, so you're still kind of getting through some, additional videos or training tutorials, things like that. But our goal here is to see you guys succeed. So whether it's, jumping on these webinars and picking, one piece of information and kind of utilizing that, or if it's showing you better organization in your system, right? Because again, if we're just organized and consistent, you only get better with the calls the more you have, right? So we never walk in just like perfect at what we do, and very personable. Some people just have a knack for certain things, let's face it, but it is a learning process.
Right.
Where we're talking to people or learning how to handle certain situations.
Yep.
So John is asking, what are your suggestions on old orphan leads that have been sitting in my CRM from 3+ years ago?
What's orphan?
I feel like abandoned.
Okay.
They've just been sitting there. They're just
Okay.
there.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
So so what I would be doing is this: you could call or text, but I would try calling first, and I would just say, hey Crystal, hope you're doing well. It's just Nick Moretti giving you a call. You probably don't know who I am or remember me, but you did come on my real estate website, years ago. I'm sure that you're probably not possibly looking for real estate or anything there, but I thought I'd reach out because I don't know where anyone is, and you may be looking for real estate. So, have you been searching on any properties, or, have you had any questions about the real estate market?
Mm-hmm.
Done.
And you can pull them all up. If you're using your filters, you can pull people up based on when they registered. And you can send a mass text. So again, kind of limit how many you do at a time. Hey, Crystal, a little bit of a blast of the past. It's a long time ago, but you're looking at listings in, whatever city or most you'd see using short code. Just curious, are you guys still in the market, or are you guys, were you able to find something back then? Right. And it's just getting responses, getting people to know to focus on, that kind of say they raised their hand, right? Some people are like, and even if they say no, again, you can go into the whole nosy neighbor, right?
Yes.
So there's, maybe they already did buy something. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. Would
Right.
this be of interest to you? Right. So there's
Right.
always a way, if you get a response, whether it's the A or nay, that you can utilize your system tools to be able to cultivate these people. Right.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
Exactly. So that's one way. You can also create drips, right? So they're in your system. Create an email drip, right? Whether it's introducing stuff about the market. Do you have any questions about the real estate market? I know it's been a while since you were in here. I'd be happy to answer anything. Doing that. If you create a drip, it could be informational, right? Kind of concurrent with what's happening in real estate right now, however long you make it, but making sure those emails are short, precise, and seem as if you just wrote it and composed it, sent it to them. You can also try to encourage them to download the app for, the home locator app, and including that in there, because again, the first time they go in there and sign up, guess what? They're getting listings from you, as well as they're signing up for Street Match, Nosy Neighbor at the same time they're registering on there. So it's a great way to kind of bring some of those people that may not be active currently back to being active. Or they may have not been receiving listings at all, because if they were like, from years ago, maybe didn't have the automated system where it was automatically setting them up. Some of them may not have searches even created, right? So
yeah, that's so true though. And that's the thing, you can never write someone off because you just don't know where it is. And like the older the leads are, the better, in my personal opinion, because maybe they bought 3 years ago and now they're looking to sell because interest is so high, right? Like you just don't know. And I feel like right now, like everything is on the table still.
Yeah. And I think it's, even to those older leads, even if they're not active, as you guys kind of know, when you're calling your new leads and you're getting the objection that they're not buying now, well, guess what? Those people are typically buying in 2, 3, 4 years. So the older they are, there's a little bit more promise. And in many cases, they haven't just gone online and signed up all over the place, getting phone calls and everything up the yin yang. You stand out a little bit more in that conversation because there's no one else that's been talking to in most of the
I agree. I totally agree. Which is great.
Easier.
Yeah. Anyone else have some other questions? Because those are great questions too. So I saw that you were going to do the bomb bomb video on the nosy neighbor. I used the bomb bomb. I just felt that using it just, I mean, for us, just wasn't really worth it. So definitely try it. But, I think we can't get so caught up on like using the latest and greatest. I would even like think about sending like a really nice email campaign with photos and like stuff like that, that maybe that you can send them to them, maybe on MailChimp, or create something on like other websites like Canva or something like that, to get something that will look a little bit better instead of doing all that. But it's really up to you.
And you can also like think kind of a little bit outside the box as well. And this goes for all your leads, not even regardless of how old they are, is get, mortgage professionals, get home stagers, get other professions that you utilize in your business and host events, online events, right? So, have, the rise in interest rates got you stuck? Let's open this open Q&A, gain some information and some value so that you have, confidence in today's market and can make an educated decision as to, what your next step or move should be. Right. So sometimes that with older people too, they're like, oh, let's just jump on this. It's a live event. There's no commitment. There's no nothing. People can't see, you make it so people can't see how many are in the group. So even if one person shows up, you just talk as if there's hundreds of people there. Right. And then there's something is thinking outside the box and making yourself aware and showing that you actually work and productive and you want to add value. Because people see that. Some people see that, right? They recognize that, and that builds confidence and utilizing you. Even if they don't attend those events, they can see that you're running them. So
totally right. You got that right. So that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Does anyone else have some other questions at all?
I have no questions on here, but we'll see if someone pipes up something.
Does someone want to come on the platform over here and maybe chat about some of their experiences? Or, we only have 5 or 10 minutes left, so.
There's no, you guys are calling, or should be anyway. Oh, another quiet group.
Yeah.
Amazing, you guys are salespeople.
I know, right?
All right. It's what makes you uncomfortable. It makes you grow as an individual.
Exactly. But if everyone's quiet, I guess, I don't know, it's up to you, Crystal, but it's a little bit earlier.
Go, it doesn't bother me. But yeah, if no one has any other questions to add, I know, Nick, you're great at taking those calls that are good and recording. So maybe next time we'll have a couple more, maybe different scenarios that that pop through, right? And how you handled, or ones that maybe there's objections, risk, real, current situations, things like that could add value. So again, you can do that. And then of course, if you guys have any questions that come up, just reach out, right? So you can reach out to that. Reach out to me. I can add them so that we have little discussion points for next time. And John said he's like the recorded calls to share with his team. Absolutely. The recorded calls are great, especially from a team perspective and using Twilio. That's why I always encourage, for one, it's accountability. Especially if you're running a team, you want to make sure that everyone's actually actioning what they say they're doing. But two, you being able to utilize those calls and listen to the recordings to coach them on, or even themselves. I know a lot of agents stop and they listen back to their conversations to see kind of what they could have done a little bit differently, or how they could have worded something a little bit differently, or see where they, lost the conversation, right? Yes. So it's all a learning process as we're doing it. And again, the more you do, the more, better you get at it, naturally.
Exactly. And remember, I sound like super easy with it because I've also been doing this for 7 years and been getting rejected real hard at the beginning. So, the good thing about objections is that there's only so many objections before someone can move forward, right? So, what you're doing in your tool pouch right now is just absorbing as many objections as possible, understanding the scripts, and then internalizing it, and then make it sound like you.
Yeah. And it's figuring out those pain points, right? So whatever their pain point is, you've got a solution for it. And that's
Exactly.
how you, when you think of an objection, that's how you handle them, is these are all
Exactly.
pain points. This is what they're telling you. So if you have a solution for each one of those pain points or possible solution, there's your objection handling right there.
Exactly.
We've all had a call where you've been with someone on sales and they are just phenomenal at their job. You can't even say no, and you end up buying something you don't even know what you bought, or why you bought
Exactly.
it. Can't even afford it, but here it is,
Right?
right? Because someone was really good at handling objections. It didn't matter what you said, there was
Exactly.
always a solution to
Exactly.
whatever it was, right? So some of us are getting, I get better at it now. I've learned to say no. But, and we're not here to sell people, but it's kind of going into the whole, like, have a solution for each one of those pain points, because again, it only helps to build confidence as well.
100%.
Yeah. Awesome.
But I appreciate everyone on this call.
Yeah.
Happy selling, and Crystal, have a great
Please.
day. And I
You as
look
well.
forward seeing you guys again.
Sounds good. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.